This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Noong nakaraang episode po natin, napanauhin natin si Ginoong Lito David at si Governor Homo Bono Adanza. And maraming critical na pananaw na narinig natin tungkol sa pumapasok na bagong administrasyon ni Ginoong Roddy Duterte. Ano? At ipapagpatuloy po natin yan, itong episode po natin dahil marami tayo araw-araw at bawat linggong dumadaan, narinig mula kay incoming President Duterte, Mayor and President Duterte. Panauhin po natin ngayon para magbigay ng pananaw nila ay si General Valeroso Dado, ang tawag natin na senatorial candidate. Maybe we can also evaluate what he views about the past experience. And ating kinatuhan galing sa NACFIL, Nationalist Filipino, si Ginoong Ferdy Pasion, isang regular na po natin na analyst. Simulan natin kay General. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Anong nakikita mong good, bad, and ugly dito sa 2 linggong nakaraan na alam na ng bayan na kung sinong bagong presidente papasok, anong mga aksyon niya, anong pananalita niya, and so on. The good first.
The good thing is we are going to start anew, no? Papasok ang bagong administrasyon. It's good that the
Bago ba?
expectation, no?
Bago ba?
Bago yun sa
Kasi
pananaw.
nung pangako nila
Bago yun sa pandinig.
pagbabago.
Change is coming, no? The good thing is change is coming, no? Where we have a new ball game, possibly a new team, no? And new programs to pursue.
Briefly, so may good na nakikita ka, may pagbabago.
Definitely.
Okay. The bad?
The bad thing is hindi kaagad natin magagawa dahil implementation-wise, ang kaya lang natin ipatupad yung nakasaad na sa Constitution. The first order of the day na sinasabi sa atin ni President-elect Roddy is for a constitutional convention. It may take quite some time. So, it may be bad because we are going to work within a specific time frame.
Ang reaksyon ko lang sa constitutional convention is wala siyang preset idea kaya convention. Maghahalalan, doon sa halalan ng convention, mga may pera, mga politiko din, siguro majority, mga politiko ang magpapanalo ng kandidato nila at interest nila ang mapoprotektahan o mga oligarchs. Anong tingin mo doon?
Somehow, the ball game is still a new type, no? Although
may pagbabago pa rin.
Old players pa rin 'yun.
Sige,
dahil ang interest na isusulong pa rin nila yung sa interest ng very few, no? The elite, the oligarchy.
We can maybe elaborate later on how we can avoid that if we do have a con-con. So anong pangit? Anong ugly? Meron ka bang nakita?
Meron tayong tinatawag na revolution of pricing expectation.
Okay.
Ang dami nating naipangako sa ating mga kababayan
Siya ang
during the
nagpangako.
course.
Ako hindi ako kasama doon.
And all the candidates for that matter.
Okay.
When we will not be able to meet the expectation of our people, then frustration will come in and it's going to paint a very ugly picture pagka hindi na-meet.
Pero hindi ba frustration na ang nag-propel kay Roddy Duterte sa kanyang panalo? Frustration with the past administration. At yung panalo naman ni Noynoy Aquino ay frustration with Gloria Arroyo. At yung panalo naman sa EDSA 2 ni Gloria Arroyo, sabi frustration doon kay Erap.
You're right.
Patuloy-tuloy na lang ba ito?
You're right. This is a frustration game.
Game.
If I could say. Yeah.
Okay, we'll go back to that.
And that's ugly part.
Yeah, but that's why my position is gusto ko na revolutionary government again, or muna, para malinis, maayos, and then mangako ulit. Ano ba? Okay, Cafferty.
Well, the good is the promising what seems to be an incoming administration that will pursue an independent foreign policy, especially vis-a-vis the West Philippine Sea. But for how long the incoming president will be able to have this stance is only God knows, because he is known to be changing his stance often. Now, the bad is he says that he is a leftist and he is going to appoint 4 leftist cabinet members, but he is not enunciating any socialist policies. He's not speaking about how to lower the cost of electricity, the overpricing in water, the overpricing in rice, the overpricing in the toll fees, the overpricing in the transport fares in the LRT and MRT. We have an overpriced system of medicines and hospitalization, tuition fees. So he is very silent about this important socialist policies when he claims to be a leftist. All he is talking about is always about peace and order. I will have criminals hanged. But he is very silent in these gut issues. Now, the ugly is he will waste his time in chartered chains, and those who subscribe to the idea of the neoliberal economic policies of being pushed by Washington have now entered into the picture, and they are saying that we need 100% foreign ownership in order for our economy to develop. But time and again, as I have already pointed out in this TV program and in other TV programs, I always remind all Filipinos that 100% foreign ownership is not a guarantee for foreign investments to come in. Like in China, even the Chinese citizens themselves are not allowed to own land. And yet, foreign investors are coming to China by the droves. So, what is propelling these foreign investors to invest in China? Well, they have cheap electricity, cheap water, cheap gasoline.
Big market.
A big market. And their employees or salaried workers are not asking for high wages or high salaries because
Although
they have,
tumataas na ngayon.
although tumataas na ngayon, no? But because they have cheap everything, including, they don't have toll fees. Almost all their roads are for free. Here, the toll fees are very expensive. So, even if we conduct charter change every day, we change the constitution every day, no amount of charter change will attract foreign investors here as long as we have this regime of price gouging and overpricing by the oligarchs.
Okay. Ako naman, magsisimula ako sa ugly. Ang ugly ay yung aksaya ng panahon sa kanyang bangayan sa mga kalaban niya nung kampanya. Presidente na siya. Dapat umangat na siya. He should rise above. At yung mga kantyaw, pabayaan na niya. He needs to produce result. So that is the ugly. The bad, the confusion. Magulo pa. Ano? Kasi tumuntong siya dyan sa tagumpay niya na talagang hindi malinaw except a very, very general set of directions. And the good, I think the only thing he has done to produce a good result now is to meet with the Chinese ambassador and spoke positively. And may resulta kaagad. Nagluwag ang China doon sa kanilang restriction sa Scarborough Shoal as a sign of goodwill. At nagpasalamat ang mga mangingisda ng Zambales at Pangasinan na nangingisda doon sa Scarborough or Bajo de Masinloc, kay Duterte. Sana kung nagawa yun nung nakaraang administrasyon, di ba? So malinaw, this is something good. And there is more good to be pursued there. So that is a result nga of a correct decision on policy. And dapat doon lang siya nagsasalita. Yung mga bishops, wag na nilang awayin yan. Total, natalo na niya sila eh. Kasi lumalabas naman yung question ngayon, banatan mong hypocrisy ng simbahang Katoliko, yung iglesia, dahil sumuporta sa kanya, nagkakaroon pa ng kantsaw sa kanya naman. No? So, that is the ugly, the bad, and the good. Okay, let's open. Ano bang nabitin kanina before I went to yung question?
Yung ugly part is the rising expectation.
Rising expectation.
Kasi alam mo, mga kababayan natin, gusto niya kaagad maramdaman yung pagbabago. Halimbawa, yung pagbababa ng presyo ng mga bilihin, baba ang presyo ng kuryente at ng tubig, mga utilities. Hindi kaagad-agad na
kahit
darating
na yung pagbaba ng krimen, hindi yan makukuha sa pag-aanunsyo ng babaguhin ang estilo ng pagbitay sa pagbitay at hindi na lethal injection.
Hindi yan. Hindi yan ang
Kasi
substance nun.
ang naging diskusyon pa, mas matipid yung bitay. Kung gusto mong tipid, kumuha ka ng bulok, magpugot na lang tayo tulad ng ISIS at nasa Saudi Arabia. Di ba?
Hindi yan ang substance ng usapin tungkol sa death penalty. Ang sinasabi kasi natin, pag inire-reimpose natin ng capital punishment, it's tantamount to admitting na
we have failed in reforming our society, the justice system, and in a poor country where you as a police general, many innocent poor because of lack of lawyers, lack of resources, sila ang mabibitay in place of somebody who's really guilty, who has the money, and the lawyer.
Kung inosente yung
yung mahirap na tao.
But one thing good about it is we can lay this issue to the table for discussion. Yung pros and cons. But definitely, hindi naman natin kagad mai-implement yan kasi nasa constitution din natin yan.
Yung sa death penalty, naalala ko yung isang nabitay in the sense na yung lethal injection or electrocution. Natuloy, although may stay of execution, pero natuloy. Kasi yung fax doon sa execution, sira. Pina-fax yung order na stay of execution, hindi na-receive yung fax. Ay, kawawa naman yung tao.
Naituloy yung execution. Yung mga ganong instances.
That's a problem. And anyway, so that's one. And then doon sa Chacha or Concon, I was saying na problema sa Concon, pera pa rin ang iiral. May makakalusot na mahusay. Tulad nung 1971 Constitutional Convention, pumasok sila Voltaire Garcia, sila Digny Chauco, and so on.
Mga nationalist economists.
Augusto Cesar Espiritu.
Pero marami ding mga politiko o yung mga proxies nila, di ba? Lalo na ngayon, mas malakas ang oligarchs. Yung ipapasok nila to protect the 100% foreign ownership, o ipasok yun.
Ito pa nakakatakot, Kamentong, Kasi nung 1987 Constitution na yan, nabuo yan after the EDSA Revolution. Na nung panahon na yun, talagang yung revolutionary spirit nandun pa, patriotism, lahat-lahat, At in-appoint ni Cory, in fairness to President Cory, matitinong tao. Matitinong tao yung in-appoint. Kaya nakapagbuo sila ng constitution na sa aking pananaw, isa sa pinakamaganda sa buong mundo.
Pero yung constitution na rin na yun, yung Constitutional Commission, appointed, reflected the ideology of the power to be, si Cory. Kaya natanggal yung provision doon tungkol sa Sama, yung by historical rights, yung territory or legal title.
Yan. Maganda yung
Number two, doon sa financial system natin, yung provision sa central bank, binago din yun na natanggal yung government control sa ating monetary system.
But what's the danger now? Kasi sa operasyon, ang sinasabi ng doktor, the benefit must outweigh the risk. Kasi pagka inumpisahan mo yung proseso sa charter change, hindi totoong malilimit mo lang yan sa parliamentary federal o malilimit mo lang yan sa 100% foreign ownership. Lahat ng mga provision dyan, pwedeng pakialaman. Ano mga magagandang provision na pwedeng mawala? Pwedeng mawala yung prohibition against political dynasty. Pwedeng mawala yung prohibition against pork barrel na in-uphold ng Supreme Court. Pwedeng mawala yung prohibition against disbursement acceleration program. Pwedeng mawala yung prohibition against US bases in particular and US nuclear weapons.
Yun, lalo na ngayon. No?
Pwedeng mawala yung provision na the Philippines is renounces war as an instrument of national policy. Pwedeng mawala yung provision na dapat merong patriotism na tinuturo sa mga eskwelahan. Merong living wage. Merong provision ang tawag dito yung safety or security of tenure. Maraming mga provision, yung 60-40, magiging 100% na para sa dayuhan. Ang mangyayari dito, pagka pinayagan mo, for example, na magmayari ng lupa ang mga dayuhan dito sa Metro Manila, tataas ang market value. Pag tumaas ang market value, pati yung amilyar tataas. Pati yung mga upa sa mga apartment tataas.
Yes, sir.
So yung mga Pilipino, maglilipatan, aalis ng Metro Manila, magiging parang mga negrito o ita, titira sa mga bundok. Ang titira sa Metro Manila, mga dayuhan. So ito ba yung pananaw natin? At saka yung isa pang problema dito, yung Bangsamoro Basic Law, discredited nito, no? Kinamumuhian ito ng sambayan ng Pilipino. Kaya nga naging very unpopular si Noynoy at hindi nanalo yung kanyang bata, si Mar Rojas. Ngayon, hindi nga nila ipupurso yung Bangsamoro Basic Law, pero they will make the Constitution conform with the BBL instead of the other way around. The BBL must conform with the Constitution. So gagawa sila ngayon kasi parliamentary federal yung yung BBL which is strange to our culture kasi pati yung Malolos Constitution is actually presidential although may prime minister doon, is a presidential system actually, no. So strange sa ating culture to. This is a system of the Malaysians that you will now impose just to please the Bangsamoro so-called people, no? Pero sabi nga ni Rigoberto Tiglao, there's no such thing as Bangsamoro people. Merong Tausug, merong Maranao, merong Maguindanao, pero invento lang ni Normiswari yung word na Bangsamoro So, gagawin mong in essence BBL yung entire Philippines. Ang problema pa dito, kung ayaw halimbawa ng sambayan ng Pilipino yan, hindi yan gusto ng sambayan ng Pilipino, kasama yung 100% foreign ownership, sinong bibilang ng boto sa plebiscite? Smartmatic? Baka mamaya nanalo yung no, sasabihin ng Smartmatic, panalo yung yes.
Okay. Let's go back to General Valeroso. So, dumaan ka, naranasan mong eleksyon. Anong judgment mo dito? Is Smartmatic acceptable? What should the next voting system be?
Alam mo, merong batas dyan ng manual and automated election system, no? Pwedeng combination yan When Congress adopted the automated election, hindi naman naisantabi yung manual. Kaya pwede pa rin yan sa local level na minamanualize mo. Kailangan, bantayan mo lang maigi yung transmission.
Yung transmission,
lalo na yung certificate of canvas.
Ang posisyon ko kasi, manual voting pa rin.
Pwedeng modify.
Electronic transmission.
Correct.
Now, maraming revision pang pwede, o reform. Una-una, bakit mo sinasabay lahat ng levels?
Correct.
Katakot-takot ang haba ng listahan.
haba ng
Sige, babalikan po natin after this break.
Listahan, yes.
After this break.